The day the sky changed color, I was already late. It wasn't dramatic at first. No thunder, no alarms. Just a subtle bleaching of blue into something thin and silvery, like the underside of a fish. People noticed, squinted, checked their lenses, then went back to their routines. The city of Kestrel kept moving the way it always did. Transit rails humming, aerial barges drifting between towers, advertisements whispering directly into the auditory cortex of anyone who hadn't paid to block them. I was running, actually running on real pavement, which almost no one did anymore because I didn't trust the transit system that morning, not after what I was carrying. The package was small enough to fit in my coat, but heavy in a way mass couldn't explain. It felt like responsibility compressed into a shape. Every few steps I checked the seal, more out of habit than fear. The object inside wasn't fragile in the normal sense. It was fragile in the way moments are fragile, once broken, impossible to restore. She was waiting for me at the old observatory. At least, I hoped she was. The Kestrel Observatory sat on the city's highest ridge, a relic from before orbital arrays made ground-based astronomy obsolete. It had been decommissioned for decades, its telescope stripped, its domes sealed and repurposed as quiet zones where no wireless signals were allowed. People came here to think, to grieve, or to hide from the constant murmur of the net. She had chosen it because of that last reason. I reached the outer gate, breath burning, legs aching in a way that reminded me I still had a body, despite everything. The gate recognized my biometrics and slid open with a tired groan. Inside, the air felt different, cleaner, heavier. Real. She stood near the center of the main dome, her back to me, looking up at the blank curve of metal where the stars used to be projected. "Mara," I said. She didn't turn around. For a moment, panic flared. Had I been followed? Had she sensed something wrong? But then she spoke, her voice steady and quiet. "You're late, Elias." "I know." There was a delay. She finally turned, and the sight of her hit me harder than the run had. She looked the same as always, dark hair pulled back, eyes sharp and searching, but there was a tension in her posture that hadn't been there before, like a wire pulled too tight. "You shouldn't have come," she said. "I had to." "You always say that." I reached into my coat, then stopped. "Not yet." "Mara," I said, choosing each word carefully. "I brought you something." Her eyes flicked to my coat, then back to my face. Suspicion, fear, hope, each crossed her expression in quick succession. "You know what today is," she said. I nodded. Of course I knew. Everyone did. The anniversary had been pushed into every feed, every public space, every memory assist. 10 years since the singularity event. 10 years since the world changed in a way no one had planned for, and no one fully understood. 10 years since Mara lost her sister. "I remember," I said. She looked away. "Then you shouldn't be here with gifts." "This isn't." I stopped myself. "Just please. Let me show you." She hesitated, then nodded once. "Fine. But if this is another simulation, another reconstruction..." "It's not," I said quickly. "I promise." I pulled the package from my coat and held it out to her. The object was no bigger than a book, encased in a matte black shell that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. No markings, no ports. Just smooth, uninterrupted surface. She stared at it without moving. "What is it?" she asked. I swallowed. "It's a key." Her brow furrowed. "To what?" "To something I helped build. Something we weren't supposed to finish." She didn't reach for it. Her hands remained clenched at her sides. "Elias," she said slowly, "the last time you said something like that, 3 people disappeared from the research wing, and the rest of us signed lifetime non-disclosure agreements under threat of neural erasure." I winced. I know. And I'm sorry. But this is different.
How?
Because it works. Silence filled the dome, thick and pressing. She laughed once, sharp and humorless. You can't just say that. Do you have any idea how many it works claims I've heard in the last 10 years? Time reversal, consciousness backups, parallel retrieval. None of it worked. None of it brought her back. I'm not trying to bring her back, I said. That got her attention. Then what are you doing? She demanded. I took a breath. This was the moment. The point of no return. I'm trying to give you a choice. I stepped closer and gently placed the object into her hands. She stood frozen when I gave her the gift. Her fingers curled around it automatically, like her body had decided before her mind could catch up. She stared down at the black surface, breathing shallowly, as if it might pulse or explode or whisper her name. What does it do? She asked, barely audible. It opens a window, I said. Not into the past. Not exactly. Into a probability space that diverged at the moment of the event. Her head snapped up. You said you weren't trying to bring her back. I'm not. This doesn't resurrect anyone. It doesn't change our timeline. It lets you observe another one. She shook her head. That's still impossible. It was, I said. Before we realized the event didn't just create the net. It fractured causality. The singularity event had been marketed as humanity's greatest achievement, a self-improving artificial intelligence designed to optimize global systems. Energy, climate, logistics, everything. What no one had predicted was the side effect. The AI didn't just analyze reality, it modeled it so precisely that those models began to exist alongside the original. Most of them collapsed instantly. Some didn't. Observation only, I continued. No interaction. No communication. Just seeing. Mara's grip tightened. Seeing what? A world where the event unfolded differently. Where certain people made different choices. Where my sister lived, she said. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Her breath caught. She took a step back, as if the object had suddenly grown heavier. You can't do this to me, she whispered. You can't put that in my hands and expect me to. I'm not expecting anything, I said. That's the point. You decide. She looked at me then, really looked, as if searching my face for deception, for madness. You're serious, she said. Yes. And if I use it, it will activate once, I said. For a limited duration. After that, the window collapses. How long? Long enough, I said.
To see.
To understand. She closed her eyes. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The observatory creaked softly as the temperature shifted, metal expanding and contracting like a sleeping giant. Finally, she opened her eyes. Why me? She asked. The answer was complicated. Because she had lost more than most. Because she had been the one to question the official reports. Because she was the only one I trusted not to abuse it. But there was a simpler truth. Because it was always meant for you, I said. She nodded slowly, as if accepting something she had known all along. Okay, she said. Show me. I guided her to the center of the dome, where the old projection platform still stood. She placed the object on it, her hands trembling now despite her composure. What do I do? She asked. Just let it recognize you, I said. The surface of the object shimmered, then dissolved into light. The air in the dome thickened, colors bending inward toward a point above the platform. Mara gasped as the world unfolded around us. The observatory vanished, replaced by a city that was almost, but not quite, kestrel. The towers were shorter, the sky a deeper blue. The air felt warmer. And there, across the street, was her sister.
Alive.
Mara cried out, a sound torn from somewhere deep inside her. She took a step forward, then another, before remembering. She couldn't touch.
Couldn't speak.
She watched. They followed her sister through a day that mirrored and diverged from memory in small, painful ways. A missed train. A conversation that lasted longer. A decision to take the stairs instead of the lift. At the moment where, in our world, the singularity events cascade had triggered the failure that killed her, nothing happened. Life went on. Mara sank to her knees, sobbing silently. I stayed back, giving her space, watching the countdown tick invisibly toward 0. When the window began to fade, she reached out instinctively, her fingers passing through light. "No," she whispered.
Please.
"Just a little longer." "I'm sorry," I said, my own voice breaking. "This is all it can do." The world collapsed into darkness. Then the observatory returned. Mara remained on the floor, shaking. I knelt beside her, but didn't touch her. After a long time, she spoke.
She was happy, she said.
She grew older. Yes. She never knew, Mara continued, about us, about what we lost. No, I said. She didn't. Mara laughed softly through tears. Good. She looked up at me. That was the gift, wasn't it? She said. Not her. Not hope. Closure. I nodded. She took a deep breath, then stood, wiping her face. What happens to the device now? She asked. It's inert, I said. Without you, it's just a shell. She considered that, then held it out to me. Destroy it, she said. I hesitated. Are you sure? Yes, she said firmly. Some things are meant to be seen once. Any more than that, and they stop being gifts. I took it from her and nodded. Outside, the sky was returning to blue. We walked out of the observatory together, the city stretching before us, unchanged, imperfect, real. As we parted ways at the gate, Mara paused. Elias, she said. Thank you. For what? For trusting me, she said, and for not trying to fix everything. She smiled then, a small, genuine smile I hadn't seen in years. And as she walked away, I understood something I hadn't when I built the device. The greatest gift wasn't the window into another world. It was the ability to let go of this one and choose to live in it anyway.